Good evening, Hobby World. Welcome to episode 11 of Hobby Roundtable. We are a panel of YouTubers, content creators, hobby enthusiasts, collectors, and what I would consider friends. We come together once a month to talk about our hobby and yours. Good evening,
morning, everybody.
And ladies. We have a lady in the house tonight, Jenny Miller. Jenny Miller, how are you doing?
She's muted at the moment.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Hi, Jenny.
Glad you could join us, John. Glad you could join us tonight.
Howdy.
This is John's first time on the Hobby Roundtable. It's and we kind of John. This is and Jenny both. It's kind of open to discussion. Just whatever topic comes up, we'll go with it. Jump in and jump in where you want. So
okay,
we kind of had a conversation going before we went live. Ed, I can send you the link. I don't know. I can't remember if I did or not. Ed was wanting to join tonight. If you want to join, I'll send you the link. But we had a conversation going before we went live about being a dealer and a collector at the same time. And I kind of cut it short because we wanted to get going. But George and Rich, if y'all want to pick that back up, I'm good with running with it.
There's the person I'm referring to is not in the room since we're now public. I don't want to call anybody out by name.
I'm not saying call anybody out, but I mean,
you know what? I don't mean calling
discussion.
I don't mean calling him out, but it was somebody who, when he went full time, I said the only piece of advice I'm going to give you is you can't be a collector and a dealer at the same time. If you're going to be full time, your collecting days are basically done for now. Mm-hmm. And then, as you pointed out, somebody like Bo, our friend from 1 Million Cubs, does still do some collecting. So it's possible, but you have to be really careful with what you do. Because Bo used to talk about, he'd go to a show, he'd buy a, pre-war Cubs card. Mm-hmm. He doesn't do that anymore because the $150, let's say, for a pre-war Cubs card can then be used to buy inventory that he can, and he does singles and doubles, so he can hit a lot of singles and doubles.
Right. And I think he's going to drop in tonight, and I hope he does, and we can kind of ask him about it. But, if from what I gather, with his the way he does his hobby business or his business, I guess I should say, he has kind of a slim margin of profit on his cards. So
right.
He kind of has to watch. It's not like he's, it's not like he's buying $100 card and flipping it for $400 or $500. So I mean, he kind of has
he's grinding.
Yep. So, welcome, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Good evening.
Right. No, and you're right. He's work. He that's why I say singles and doubles for Bo.
Yeah.
Bo's not doing. I mean, he'll sometimes get lucky and buy a $1 card and get $20 for it or $40. But most of the time, if he buys a $1 card, he'll try to get 3 or 4 for it.
You're right.
And he knows what sells and what doesn't sell. But it's also made him a lot more conservative in terms of what he's buying for his collection. I listen to almost all his webcasts now, all his podcasts.
Right.
And he's very open about what he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
He buys in bulk too, which helps.
He buys in bulk.
Yep.
So
And
he sells in bulk too.
And by the way, I'm not trying to denigrate anybody from being a collector. I'm all in favor of collectors. John will tell you I prefer dealing with collectors. When I met him I prefer collectors. I try to really always take care of real collectors.
Right.
But there's a difference. John has a good job, and John came down to Dallas and he bought stuff that he wanted to play with.
Mm-hmm.
But that was for him, but he wasn't looking to turn that into a profit. But, when I look at something, I look, with the exception of if I'm buying cards from a dime box and I see a player from my college or shares my birthday or from my high school, there are 2 of them who've played in the major leagues. If they're in a dime box, I buy all their cards. I don't care, because the outlay is so minimal. But I don't go looking for even relic cards of those people. because that's not going to be something I'm going to sell. And so it's a very interesting, thing. And yes, I like hoarders too. I mean, in a sense, I've always been a hoarder too.
I believe this is one of your guys right here, isn't it, Uncle Rich? Harrison Bader?
Yes, that's one of my guys, correct. He is the second major leaguer from my high school.
Right.
So that is one of my guys. And anytime I see a Harrison Bader card in the dime box, I just buy it. Even in the quarter box, I usually just buy it. And that's and those are irrelevant to me, whether I buy, they go sticking into some pile. I don't ever worry about them.
Yeah. And I do. I have one player like that and he's not from my hometown and not even my county, but it's the next county over. Is Jake Westbrook. He played with the Indians.
And there's one player from my hometown that played Major League Baseball and one that actually has a Topps 84 Topps football card, but he's a punter for the Falcons. So if I see his cards, it's a dime pickup. Right. But the other guy's cards are from 55 to 66, and he's got a 57. He's got a 57 short print and a 66 high number card. So he's got some expensive cards. So I don't go chasing those expensive cards with the guy from my hometown who played in the 50s and 60s. If I walk into it in a dollar box, that's wonderful. But that's, those are things I do. And yet I've showed it in this room. I do have it's one of the things, it'll be the one thing that'll go to my grave with me, is I have a big frame of all his cards and an autographed photo and some other, stuff from his career. So, I mean, I've actually got a full collection of his cards.
And actually another one that I've started probably in the last year is excuse me, he never made the majors, but he played in the Cardinals minor league system. He was a pitcher, Landon Beck, and he's actually from my hometown and was actually the quarterback of the football team when my son played.
And if he's got a card and you see the card, you can buy those cards. That's perfect because they're not, even if it's $1 or $2 in that case, that's perfectly fine.
And now he's back home working at the local hardware store. So,
hey, I'm sure if he's got a card, I'm sure he'd appreciate signing them.
Yep.
Okay,
he says the cardboard's worth more than his signature. So,
probably so. And I'm going to lead off with a card, just because I want to brag a little. If for those who may not know, Dr. Beckett was awarded this year the Saber Burdick Award for it's like a lifetime hobby award.
Right.
As John Keating posted, he should have been the first, which I agree with. I mean, when I wrote the nomination 2 years ago, I said, folks, forest trees, yes. And I said, we don't have a hobby without him.
I feel like I'm the only one without one of those cards.
These are autographed.
Because you haven't come to.
Yeah, these are autographed.
Herman, I can have him mail you one, okay?
Yeah.
If you really want one, he's got he buys them.
I'm
and
sure
sees them.
I was just checking. I mean, not that I wouldn't mind having one, but yeah, I think I would, which would probably never happen. But I would prefer to get one in person. But
well, if you come to Texas, I can pretty much guarantee you'll get one in person.
Yeah, considering he lives in the Texas area, and I live where I live, and I don't fly, I probably never will. So,
well, he's in the Hall of Fame now, Herman. I don't know if you're going to get one.
Right? Yeah,
went up.
The value just went up.
Yeah, the funniest story about that is, he signs some of the cards for if he does a dinner or something, and one of my friends who has always helped me at the show, I wanted to make sure he got one of those cards, and he came to the smaller local show that Kyle Robertson, our local promoter, does, and Raymond sitting at the front desk. And he had the card ready signed for Raymond, and Raymond started quietly asking, do you want this? It's already signed to you. And the look on Raymond's face was like priceless.
Herman, I got some news for you here, right? So you see this, right? I didn't realize until I took it out of the penny sleeve.
You got two of them.
This one's yours, all right? I'll send this one to you.
That must have been a slip of the thumb there.
No, I actually bought one. I bought one.
Oh,
and then
you bought one.
And then
Okay.
he gave me one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I know.
Hey, Rich,
Yes, sir.
is Dr. Beckett from Pittsburgh area?
Is what?
He's from the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, he grew up all over the place. Pittsburgh is one of the areas he grew up in.
Well,
And then he spent some years in West Virginia growing up. And he ended up at SMU down here, and he loved the area so much that when he got to do stuff full time, he lived down here.
The reason I ask is obviously he could have dressed up in that uniform anywhere, but I'm wondering, a friend of mine who I met in Chicago playing in baseball leagues, he's from Pittsburgh, and he plays in the fantasy game at PNC every year, and I'm wondering if he's played in those before.
As far as I know, the only time he's ever played in a fantasy thing is he did the Hall of Fame fantasy camp.
He tells a story about George Brett pitching. Was it George Brett, Rich?
Yeah.
I think George Brett, yeah. Pretty funny story.
And so a few years ago, when the Hall of Fame began the process of doing their baseball card room, he has these yearly hobby dinners, or he had pre-COVID. And, he brought the president of the Hall of Fame down and a different person. And we were like an in-person focus group for discussing what we wanted in the baseball card room of the Hall of Fame. That was really cool.
Now, wasn't that card made at was it a national, or that was some kind of
that card is in Topps All-Star Fan Favorites.
That's it.
That one's in there. There is a card from the '92 National.
Okay, so that's
I'll send you a. I should be able to find an image.
And I mean, we all know that the Pirates uniform comes from his love of Clemente. So
yeah,
that's why Clemente's on the first.
Yeah,
that's why Clemente's on the first issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to send you a
along with Dale Murphy.
Herman, I'm going to send you a Twitter link to a ComC thing so you can post the 90. That's the 92 card. So if you want to put that's.
Okay, let's see. If I can get this pulled up. Yeah, I remember this one now.
Yeah, that's the set I have a card in too.
He told me a story about that, Rich.
There are 500 of those cards. Each of us got sent a Venn box of 500. And there were 66 cards in the set, and I actually had the uncut sheet at one point.
That ain't it.
That's not it. That's all our secret information.
That's it. Yeah.
So that's
I put the link in, and you just posted up our chat. But
yeah, but that's
fine. Click on the link, and you should be able to get it.
That's what it is. All right, I got it now.
I just put the link in the actual YouTube chat there.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
But if somebody wants to see it, that'll help.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get it. I'm like, I'm having technical difficulties. There it is.
Are we on Periscope, Herman?
Look at that card.
We are on Periscope, apparently. So, if Twitter and Periscope are still linked, we are on Periscope.
Without our knowledge.
So somebody says they're listening in the background, but they're supposed to be in here with us.
Right.
Yep. I mean, but yeah, that's the one that was at the National. Okay.
I heard a rumor that Rich Klein autographed one of those cards, and that somebody very famous tried to get it slabbed, and they were denied.
I've never heard that story, but I'll take your word for it, John.
Somebody told me that story Thursday, so it might pop up here in the internets in the next couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Well, I don't think there's ever been anybody who. I don't think JSA has any versions of my signature, so if it's JSA, we'll have.
No, I think it was Beckett, and that may have even been the customer as well.
Okay, that would be funny.
Yeah, surprised you don't know that, man. He just told me that Thursday.
Cool. That's a funny story.
His own company wouldn't slab it because they couldn't authenticate your autograph. That's what he told me.
Yeah, they've never seen my autograph, which is probably true.
They should have gone to accounting. Accounting would have had a copy of your autograph.
Right.
Actually, accounting's now done remote, so accounting won't have a copy.
Well, I'm saying this was way back. This is back in the day. He told me.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's also easy to reach. I mean, they could have asked for a sample.
That's true too.
I mean, they could have contacted him and said, "Hey, can we get a sample of your autograph? We got to authenticate it for a card."
Rich, yeah, we do a TTM with Rich. We'll see what happens.
You're finna get a sloth of TTMs, Rich.
That's fine. It's funny that a friend of mine, and it's kind of sad because I know where it came from. I posted on Facebook. He sent me a photo of it. He cleaned out, what was left of his friend's hobby collection from his home in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, when he passed. And I had given this person a card of me and my wife when we got married, or my wife and I, and we had like 100 or 200 cards made. So he sends me a photo of it. So it was really, and I know John saw it on Facebook, and it was just funny. So the card showed up today.
Get it Rich.
Yeah, I'll get it slabbed.
So
Jeannie and Ed, I mean, y'all feel free to jump in here anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just taking in the conversation. Very interesting.
I think,
Right.
So Jenny's a collector, right? And she sells. What's her? How does she compartmentalize all that stuff in her head? 'Cause if I buy something, I never want to sell it unless it's a duplicate, right?
Ed's just sitting there thinking about these.
Yeah. Well, I do the same. I have an eBay store, and I just I stay focused on. Oh, those are nice. Yeah.
They're yours.
Yeah, I know. Hey, funny story. I opened up a case of Jumbo Series 1.
A case? I only opened the box.
Well, I usually open a case for each release, and I fill my eBay store and grab what I want from the Red Sox. But I got three SSPs in this case.
Aren't you only supposed to get like one?
It's one in like 11,000 packs. You get the Garrett Cole.
I love those.
And the Babe Ruth, which is already sold. That one sold about an hour ago.
Man.
But I had to double check the codes because I'm like, this can't be correct. I went into Cardboard Connection and Beckett, and it's right. The code is correct. And I don't know if somebody messed up and put the wrong boxes in the wrong case, but
are they legally bound to these numbers?
Don't complain because
no, I'm not sending them back. But,
there was when my ComC teammate Stefan, who's been on the show occasionally, and by the way, happy birthday on Thursday to Mrs. Another Castle, Angela, who had her birthday on Thursday. He interviewed somebody who got 2 autographs out of the same pack from a Topps box this year. And one was normal, the other was Nolan Ryan.
Well, that's worth it.
Yeah, so he had a really good box.
Yeah, and I figure it's just one of those things, but one of those things never really happens to me.
It's nice when it happens to you, isn't it?
Yes. But
where in Boston or New England are you from?
I'm in Rhode Island. I'm in Tiverton, Rhode Island. Right on the coast, near Newport.
Did you go to the Cranston show a couple weeks ago?
I did. And I grabbed this Bob Gibson for my
I love that. That's a middle series 65, if I remember. I'm guessing on the card number. So let me guess on the card number and be totally wrong. 320.
You got it.
That's rich. That's rich.
There's a Bob Gibson collector here.
I knew you'd have it. So I got to get
I love it. 51 Bowman Hodges. I love it.
Yeah. And
what did you call him, John? He's
Richipedia?
Richipedia, that's it.
Yep, the human hyperlink.
So yes, I did, and I just missed Ryan from Breakout Cards. He was there just before I got there.
Ryan's great. We love Ryan.
I watched this video, but he was gone by the time I got there on Saturday.
You see if Ryan can walk when he's 30 years old. He's doing great now, but man,
You know, Ryan's a triathlete.
yeah. He keeps flying Spirit Airlines. He's not going to be able to walk.
Well, if he keeps flying Spirit Airlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, think about all the good shape he's going to be in running in all the airports.
Yeah.
He'll out OJ.
Yeah, true. That airline food will get him too. All those peanuts.
There's a famous story about NBA ref Dick Bavetta flying cross country. He made sure he kept his weight. He had, they gave him the bag of peanuts, and he had like 2 peanuts the entire flight. Most of us would want 2 bags going cross country. He took 2 peanuts.
Bo was here to defend his honor.
Hey, Bo. Bo's ear was burning. We were talking about you earlier.
Before Bo defends his honor, so I'm going to say something about, this is kind of going back to what me and Uncle Rich were talking about right at the beginning. And it was about this card right here. So the authentic altered Al Barlick that I was thinking was probably going to turn about a 7. I figured it was probably good for about a 7. Came back authentic altered from SGC, but that is what it is. It's whatever. It's a part of my set that I'm building, so whatever, Basically, I'm just trying to make sure that I get all the Hall of Famers slabbed. All the commons, I don't really care if they're slabbed or not. I do have a lot of the commons slabbed, but anyway, so I sent this one in, and we had talked about it before where I was like, all right, I figure this one's probably going to hit maybe in the 7-ish range is what I was thinking. And I was like, if that's the case, in a 7, it goes for, I can't remember. I think I'd looked. It was somewhere around $500 to $700 is about what it goes for. And I was like, I'll sell that and buy some other cards from the set and then pick up a lesser copy of that one again. Like I'll rebuy that one for just a lesser copy. Because I'm totally cool with doing that. I'm cool with downgrading to add more to the set. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, what I wanted to talk about with that is, so these are actually just popped with SGC. So I got this message yesterday from my the group sub guy. But what I wanted to talk about was the fact that, number one, with SGC, I really like that they send you these scans.
Mm-hmm.
So you get scans of your cards now.
They just started that, didn't they?
Yep, they just started that. So that's the card right there. So, they slab it, they scan it, and in addition to that, now, if it is something like this where it's altered, they actually tell you what the issue is that was with it. So this one right here says, there's a note in the thing where when they graded it, and it says color added. So basically somebody took a marker or a crayon or something to some of the borders, which is not all that uncommon with the 55s, I hear. Because of the
too.
What's that? The
71 times as well.
71, right. Yeah.
And actually, 53 and 63 too.
Yeah.
A lot of those are done too.
Yeah. So, it does, which also it has me worried because I believe this one's the centering's off on it, but it's super sharp. So this is one that's going to be going in as well. And I'm like, I hope nobody touched this one as well. But, there's always that possibility, right?
You might be able to check that with a loop. And I don't know how they do it, but I'm sure they turn it on its side to see if any of the ink has bled into the side.
Right. And actually, it's kind of, so the thing about it is, it's sort of like when I've looked at it, I can kind of, like when I zoom in, it's kind of like on the corners, you can sort of see how it's sort of brownish looking versus like a white. Like, so for example, if you look down, there's more of a white looking, it zoomed out, but anyway, there's more of a white looking, on it. But then on some of the corners, if you look closely at the corners, they look more brown, like they've touched the corners with something. And
trying to cover the edge wear.
Yep. And I had this one. So I had this one out and I'm looking and like it does have some touch corners a bit too, but they look more white. So I'm kind of thinking that like maybe that one somebody did take the little Crayola to it. But you know, it's for my set. Like I don't have to sell and downgrade now because it's already downgraded.
Yeah, I'm gonna you say that and I'm gonna share this story. And Jenny's gonna love this because she's always on me about talking chickens. And you know, everybody knows that I've been into like showing old English bantams. There's actually people that will show them, and you know, a chicken's cone and their wattles and everything is supposed to be like red. Some of them come out a little white or a little dingy or whatever. There's people that take like red Sharpies and try to paint them. And the judges will always find it, like, you know, when they're judging the birds. And what they'll do is if the color comes off on their thumb, they have cards on the cages that tells, you know, who the exhibitor is and whatever. With the color that's on their thumb, they'll put it on the card like, you know, we got you. And disqualify the bird. So I mean that's that, you know, adding color and it happens in something else.
Right. That's funny. But yeah, like I am impressed though with SGC doing the scans and sending you the scans. I'm impressed with the fact that they tell you what the problem is if there is a problem. I mean, if it's a card that's gradable, that just grades, they're not going to tell you like, oh, we dinged it because of this and that and whatever. But something like that where it's like, okay, this one's got issues of someone altering it. Here's the issue. So I can appreciate that. I can respect that.
And it helps you out too, because if you get the card back and they tell you what the problem was, then if you decide to send more in, you know what to look for.
Right.
By the way, how long did it take SGC to grade that card?
That was sent from Korea. All right. It was mailed out from Korea on January 26th.
That's impressive. Less than a month.
Yep.
From Korea.
From Korea.
Yeah.
Less than a month, and your card is graded. I don't know what level you paid, but that's
regular. The base. So $30.
That's pretty impressive. So that tells me SGC has caught up on all their stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's very impressive. Whatever they've done is working in terms of getting cards graded and get back to all the collectors.
I did a submission in August, 12 days, door to door.
Yeah, there's grading companies here that can't get them done that fast in the state.
I think SGC sees the opportunity with PSA still struggling, and they're taking the bull by the horns.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and I didn't do really detail. I basically just based this on what they on two things they publicly said. One, how many cards they graded in January, and two, what they publicly announced their backlog of cards still was. And with the understanding that they're still setting up at some shows and they are doing some at the $50 levels, we'll call it some collector-based cards. And then they're also doing, you know, higher level, you know, $100, $200 graded cards. And I might be off by a month or two. I don't think PSA will be caught up in the year 2022. It will they will not be able to offer what I call the SGC $20-$25 price until at least 2023.
Yeah,
and so you're right. SGC's got a golden opportunity, you know, and I know we like showing off our collections, but this is a golden opportunity for SGC and CSG too, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, for both of them to really grab higher market share, and I think it's working.
Right, and I think like, you know, I've always thought it, but I've never bought it. Like I've always been PSA in terms of stuff, But the thing is, like, vintage does look extremely nice in SGC slabs now, especially with the new labels and stuff like that. It looks extremely nice. By the way, here was another one. Now, I was happy about this one. This is exactly what I thought it was going to grade. But there's my.
Oh, that's a pretty card. Oh, 59 Gibson rookie. That's a pretty card.
So it came back a 3, which is exactly spot on what I figured it was gonna come back was a 3. So that's my Gibson rookie, and yeah, and then it's funny. Like I'm gonna do a video on these when I get them in, but you know, I'll go ahead and show them now since and then this one, let's see. I'm looking for
You don't have to worry about upcharges.
Exactly. No upcharges.
When you send your cards in, it's just so simple dealing with them.
And then this one again, I figured a 1 to 2 and it came back a 1.5, which was totally fine by me. Yeah. So the Willie Mays 55. So.
That's a great looking card.
So and like I said, I just like the fact that I've got these scans now. Like I've got the scans. Like, you know, there's the Willie Mays.
Yeah. So I mean, with the scans, I mean, you know what you're getting before you get them. So I mean,
yeah. I mean, like the thing was, I do like having that suspense of what. Like the thing is, I would have rather like he not sent me that. I would have rather he just said like, "Hey, your cards are ready." But at the same time, like whatever, it's totally fine. Like he kind of spoiled it because I would like to have opened it on camera and shown, but I understand that like that's his business, so he's wanting to make sure that people know. And when I say business, like that's not his job, but he does the groups up, and he wants to make sure that everybody's aware and on the up and up. And it's like, here's your card.
From what I heard in an interview, that his main reason for doing that was if. Say you put those cards up for sale and somebody was looking to buy it, they could pull that card up on the registry and actually look and see that it's the same card.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I wonder if that's their next step because they have all those scans in there now, whether the next step is a registry.
Possibly.
I would say possibly as well.
So the infrastructure's there, right?
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna grab another card here.
Yeah. Well, while you do that, I mean, I will say this. You know, I've never sent a card off to be graded. It never has been something that I've been into. I do have graded cards that I've bought just because you know the price was right or whatever. But to actually send one of my own, I've never done it.
I sent
from everything that I've seen. What's that, John?
I did it once this summer. I sent 20 cards out.
Yep.
Like I said, 12 days door to door with SGC. It was amazing.
And I know that everybody says that SGC is better with like vintage and stuff, but I think if I were to send anything off, whether it be vintage or modern or anything, that's probably who I'd go with.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I only collect vintage, really. So that's all I have.
Right. So Ed, there's one of your Red Sox right there.
Duran.
Oh, nice, awesome. There's the Blaze Jordan. So this is the Korean grading company here. Now, I'll show you the reason why I got this out. Like, I mean, it's a 10. The reason why I got this out is I want to show you because on the back there's a QR code. So, like, I'll show you what happens when you scan the QR code.
Now, who graded that?
This is the Korean company, Graders, BRG. And so you just hit the QR code on the back. Of course, it pops up like you can see. Go to the web page, open it up.
That's brilliant.
And
Bo should be in here talking about QR code.
So you do that. I'm trying to get like to where there we go.
There it is.
So it actually comes up, and it comes up with photos of the card.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And tells you
the population,
everything.
all that stuff, right?
Yeah. So it's a pop one.
Pop one. There you go,
exactly. Buddy. Pop one. Gem 10, pop one right there.
All your MLB cards are going to be Pop 1.
Yeah. By the way, this is a Gen 10 Pop
Okay.
1, and I guarantee you this one probably stays for eternity Pop 1, because this isn't like, it's not an uncommon card, but it's also not a common card. It's the Pujols McGuire winning combinations out of 2000 rookie card. Like, so it's a Pujols rookie year card, but 2001 Fleer Platinum. So, but yeah, got a lot of Pop 1s there.
eBay one.
And I wanted to show this card. We were talking about the sign cards. And this one is actually the pack pull. He signed, like, I believe 800 cards for fan favorites.
Okay.
And this is, as you see from the thing, the actual pack pulled card.
So that's a blue Sharpie one then, huh?
It's a blue Sharpie, and it was how he was signing in those days, because here's when he signed internally.
Gotcha.
But they were blue Sharpie, but the one I showed you has the
Silver. Yeah, it's silver Sharpie.
is actually the pack pulled card, and they're not a lot. You don't see those very often, but that's actually a legitimate. Since we talked about the other ones that I know John and I have, that's one that you don't see. That one you don't see the pack pulled. And I don't think I've ever seen a pack pulled one, actually. My friend who sent it to me when that came out, and I paid him $60, and that was no book at the time, and I don't think book has ever changed.
What year was that?
That's 2005, I believe. Let me look at.
Okay.
I'll look it up on that ComC link. I want to say 2004, 2005. That's the difference.
Five sounds right. I think I remember hearing
2005.
Yeah.
Well, somebody's got the gold refractor.
Oh,
And they're
really?
asking $11,000 on ComC for it. I think I can pass on that.
What are they trying to sell for 11,000?
The gold refractor of
Dr.
that.
Jim.
Yes.
Oh,
That's funny.
well, ComC could be very funny at times like that.
Well, remember, the customers choose and select their prices.
Yeah,
And so you can have people do whatever they want, which is 98% of the people are good, 99% of the people are good, and then you have the occasional, what are you guys doing?
right. Well, the thing that I find so funny about it, because I sell on ComC as well. I mean, I
We
haven't
appreciate
a while
you.
because I haven't sent in anything in ages because of COVID, but I sell on ComC, and it's so funny because it's like, yeah, I mean, you got to understand, like, you get like these fees and stuff based on the list prices and all that, and it's like, why would you want to like list something that outrageously? And a lot of the people that do that, a lot of times they'll have like 100,000 cards in there, and every one of them are like that. And I'm like, what the hell is this dude paying per month in fees? Just to
Too
list
much
these
money, a
cards?
lot of money.
Exactly. It's like they're paying outrageous fees just to keep these cards listed at unrealistic prices.
Right.
I don't know, but yeah. So I just find that funny.
Well,
personally.
and as I said, it's one of the pros and cons. I'm sure, as I was talking about being on eBay, there are people on eBay, I'm sure, with the same cards he does, that he just looks at the prices and say, thank God they've had these cards there, because my cards look so reasonable in comparison.
Right. No, exactly. And but yeah, like you say, there are a lot that are totally fine, that are within reason and all that. And then you got those few outliers that, yeah, they just, and that's fine too, that they price it whatever. Like, I don't care.
And yet sometimes you have people who don't realize what they have. I have a friend of mine who gave me a 3,200 count box to send in for him.
Mhm.
And he called me because we had to go through a couple minor things on his account. And one of the cards he sent in was an Ovechkin first-year relic card.
Hmm.
And he was sure,
Right.
he didn't realize what he had. He was sure surprised when he got $200 for it.
Right.
And he was happy to pay the extra fee to get it done at $200.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
sometimes not everybody knows what they send in either. He really didn't know. It was like, oh, and then it sold the first day. Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. And,
So real quick, guys. I kind of want to ask around the table here that if there's anything that any of y'all in particular are working on at the moment that may be new that we hadn't heard about. Like, I mean, we know that you're getting your George, you're getting your set graded or authenticated or whatever. But anything other than that, I mean, anything new that you're working on or
not really. I mean, the only thing that I've been working on personally recently is like I've just been let's say simplifying my collection. I think is what I would call it. Simplifying my collection. Like I've been getting a lot of stuff slabbed. And I've been getting rid of a lot of stuff that I just don't really need or care about. Like I've posted I've posted and sold like some like KBO lots. So I took all of my KBO sets.
So you make sure that you
and I had multiple of them. And I took all of them except for
Your mom would take
the very first ones, the 2014 sets. And I'm keeping those because they're the first main release since the back in the Teleca times. But and I just took all sets, broke them down, stuck the teams in a box, and I just posted them as like team lots in these 300 count boxes. And I'm like, $10, you can have it. Of course, I pulled out my and I sold 4 of them. I sold 4 of the teams at $10 a pop. And so and there are 10 teams, so I still got 6 boxes sitting behind me. That's actually what you see stacked right back there. But no, like and I pulled out like some stuff that is of, higher value or some stuff that I like collect, so to speak. Because I mean, I'm not gonna like I don't have anything on my desk, for example, but like I don't have anything to show here on my desk that I pulled, but there's some things like, oh, okay, no, not that one. Like
okay, well.
Anyway, I pulled out some cards and stuff that were the bigger cards, but yeah. But anyway, that's all I've been doing. I've just been sort of downsizing, and things like that. So simplifying the collection.
What about you, Dan?
I actually did a YouTube video yesterday that I posted with my Isam Yup collection. Player collects him. He's a retired Korean player who played in Korea and Japan. And I bought this Expression team set, BBM Expression team set 2009. All right. And it opens up this way. And then the cards fit in here. Anyway, so I was scrolling through this and I was looking for this card right here. Okay. So I bought this team set for about 1,300 yen, which is around $12 for this one specific Lee Sung-Yup card. And I was all excited because I didn't think I had it. And when I opened this box and looked through it, and then I looked through my slabs and I already had it slabbed.
You already got it slabbed.
Yeah.
That happens.
I mean, you guys who play or collect, sometimes you forget you have a card and then you end up giving doubles.
Yep.
So I will scan the fronts and backs of these and put them on TCBB and then try and trade it or sell it to somebody.
Okay, so we were showing Beckett cards earlier, but here's an internal one with Jim dressed up as Santa Claus and signed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I've got 2, and I actually have 2 of them. I didn't realize it, but I've got 2 of them.
What is that from?
It's just an internal. Set. Card he did one year for the holidays.
Oh my God! Look at Ken. Both.
I remember all the cards are slabbed like that because we had signing machines in the building.
Right.
So he did like probably 150 or 200 of them, and I've got 2 of them now.
What's the label look like?
There's a dude.
So that's something I've never put out. I've never even thought about it, but since I was showing the others, I figured I looked in the box. I wanted to show the pack pulled, and then I realized, wait a second, I got 2 of that card.
Yeah. But who's the guy that does the Santa Claus set? He's a PC Santa Claus. Was it you that was talking
right.
about it?
He would love that card. I don't know who that is, but he'd love that card.
He's from Omaha or Lincoln, Nebraska, and I never get his name. I see him at every Chicago show, national and
basically that's his PC is the Santa Claus cards from like Pro Set and all the other sets that's released Santa Clauses. And
well, let's put it this way: since I've got a duplicate, if he wants to trade or pay an arm and a leg, I mean, I know there's a second. I know I got one available. I mean, and I say that seriously because there are 2 of them.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he's on social media, but I see he looks like the collector. He actually looks like Santa Claus. He's got a long white beard, and he has like 25,000 Santa Claus cards from the different sports sets, and then from different Santa Claus trading card sets that have been released.
Right.
And Mr. Mint?
Al's not with us anymore, but this is an Al Rosen. Al Rosen was the king of promotions. This is an Al Rosen signed item.
Right.
Man, those were crazy times. I don't know whether you guys remember that, but that guy was a legend.
Mr. Mint.
Well,
John, what are you?
I knew Al. I don't want to say really well, but I actually knew him fairly well, and we actually sat next to each other 3 straight years flying back from the National on an airplane, and there was just nothing specific. It just worked out 3 straight years we sat next to each other, and I learned a lot from listening to Al. He also gave me the best piece of advice, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got in this business, which is it doesn't matter what you sell. Your money comes in this business when you buy the item, not when you sell the item.
Right. So John, what are you, anything new that you're working on or?
Yeah. Well, imagine having a couple cars, right? Automobiles, and you completely take them apart. Every part you take apart. And then you put back together. You buy some new parts, and then you throw it in with your old stuff, and you put your cars back together. I'm doing that right now. My floor is covered with monster boxes. I'm completely reorganizing my collection, so it's a mess. And you struggle with it because do I do it by manufacturer? Do I do it by year? Yeah, right. I haven't.
I feel you.
Well, thankfully, like you, Bo, I have a nice, a basement where everybody leaves me alone. But I'm getting there. I bought a collection, probably about 50,000 cards from '95 to about 2005, and I've logged them all into Beckett OPG at this point. They're all sorted. I do it by numbers. I feel like I'm the only one left in the world that actually sorts cards by numbers. You guys do teams and players. Yeah, well, Ed's there, good, because my OCD says it has to be in numerical order. So that's all done. Tonight I spent most of the night typing up, putting into a Microsoft Word labels for every set from every year and every subset, all that stuff. So I feel like I'm turning the corner finally after a couple months of swimming in cards. And I joke about it, like, with Bo's show, I'll say I'm sorting 87 or 97 score or whatever. I'm literally doing that while I'm listening because there's been so many cards. So,
yep.
So that's me. I had to pause on my vintage stuff and sorting all that stuff post junk.
Yep. So on your 72 set that you're working on, where are you at on it?
Great question. Less than probably 32 cards, I think it is. All high numbers, nothing below 660.
Uh-huh.
So I'm getting there. I paused on that because of this project that I'm doing right now, trying to sort everything back out. So,
when you get your list or what your list is or whatever, shoot it over to me because I'm going back to a show next month where I picked up the last 16 that I got, and I mean I'll be glad to go through and see what he has. And
for sure, yeah, you told that story. That was a great story, man. That guy.
Yeah, I mean that was awesome. Like 16 cards and $50 is like,
mine are. I think I'm looking at the list right now on Beckett OPG. It's 660 is the first card I need, and that's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the big boys, right?
Yeah. Oh, 660.
What year?
$15 commons.
Yep. Okay. Well, Jenny, you can unmute yourself and join in the chat. Yeah. But yeah, what are you working on anything?
Listening.
What's that?
I said I've just been sitting back and listening.
Yeah, that's fine. But are you working on anything exciting or anything that you want to share? Or
Well, I guess actually what I'm working on, it kind of plays into what you guys were talking about at the beginning, because I guess, I'm doing a lot of the selling on eBay right now, like Boaz, and kind of got started with that because of what he was doing. It's kind of like I got all this bulk cards because for the last 9 years, I go buy all these collections of, 100,000 cards here and there. And every year I say, I got to downsize.
don't we all?
And now it's to the point that I have to get the cards out of the parents' house that are still over there, and I have no space here. So it's like, hey, Bo's selling these cards at $1.50 on eBay with free shipping, and they're moving. And there's only so many card shows I can go to with dime cards here, so I thought let's do that, and it's been working out, and it's moving the stuff, and that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just kind of trying to get the stuff moved, and I want to get the twins organized, but I gotta find the space first.
Yeah.
So
it gets kind of hard to organize when you don't have any room to stack stuff and sort it out. So
right, exactly. I got my binders, and it's because for the last how many years I've kind of collected just everything, traded here and there, let's team swap, and now it's like, do I really need this football? Do I really, do I really need complete sets across the board? I know a lot of people like that. I built a lot of sets specifically because it was an anxiety thing, and now it's like, well, I don't need 10 sets of 89 Donruss baseball, but they served the purpose at the time because it was the sorting of it. So now it's time to start moving some of that stuff.
yeah.
But Jenny, you're absolutely right. There is a certain Zen quality if you're sorting cards and you really enjoy it. It just you zone out. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yep.
Definitely.
I heard Joey Shiver, Dub Mentality. He kind of made mention of that on John's show yesterday. That just sorting through cards is kind of like an escape from life. You get into sorting the cards and everything else kind of fades in the background. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I love to sort cards. I'll do it all day long.
I really enjoy sorting through because I put them in 3,200 count boxes so they don't get confused.
Mm-hmm.
But I go through the donations I get also to pull. One of my friend Raymond, actually found some Hustler magazine cards in one of our donations. So try to make sure nothing like that gets through.
Yeah.
I got the email in case anybody ever wants to see that. But
that's how you get the kids to the show, Rich.
I would not want to be the guy that donated Hustler cards to the synagogue.
Well, he actually over the years gave us 750,000 cards because he bought some collections and stuff like that.
Pack those up and send them to Dan to go with the Juicy Honeys.
Okay. But I never got to see them, but that's
we can't talk about that.
I do pass through the donations just to make sure nothing like that goes through. And also to take out the really bad condition common cards because we'll just trash them.
Right.
But so I make one pass through the donations, and it's just fun looking even at the overproduced error cards. It's just fun looking at them. It's just, you zone out. I zone out when I do that. I did that today while listening to you, Herman, on Hobby Hotline. I mark what I do is I mark when I leave Torah study, aka Jewish Bible study, and I go to Hobby Hotline. That's why I always say hi in the chat so I know where to mark So when I go back to listen to the beginning, I know when I can stop listening because I already heard it.
Right.
But it was fun. I mean, I spent a good hour sorting through those cards today and a couple hours yesterday.
And that's where I've accumulated a lot of my stuff, because there's a local guy here, Jason Matt. I don't know if you guys have interacted with him on Twitter, but he also buys a lot of collections, and me and him make deals because he wants certain stuff out of these collections, and he doesn't care about the set building stuff. So I brought home literally truckloads of cards from him, and it works out because then I build these sets, but then it's like I say, you can only have so many of these cards, and I think Bo knows that feeling. Like you run out of space literally in your house, and you got to move them, but to throw cards away, that's you really, as a collector, you can't throw cards away unless they're really, really bad, in my opinion, anyways. So
I'm with you, Jenny. I'm with you.
Somehow.
Yep. That's something I've always
thrown away. Trust me when I say this, we've thrown away plenty of cards over the years. I mean, as I said, a creased card of 87 Topps common, that can be thrown away.
Right. Yeah. But it's like
not thrown away, just misplaced near the trash.
Throw all this
And I mean, and Raymond was actually more aggressive than I was. If I thought there was any reason anybody might even want it for a dime box, I wouldn't throw it away. Raymond would throw away a lot more than I would.
Did you throw this guy away?
No way.
Actually,
I wouldn't throw him away. That card in that shape, we would not throw that away. That's a cool card.
Yeah, he stays with me. He looks at me every day. Greatest hitter ever.
Right?
The
greatest hitter ever. Card number 210 from the years where I was really active collecting.
Oh, we got you, Rich. You're wrong. It's 211.
211, sorry. I'm off by one. What can I tell you?
I had to check on you.
Well,
it's a Canadian card.
According to Ted,
I hold on to this.
That's a cool card. Is that a childhood card?
Oh, with the tack in it.
The pinhole. The missing.
That's a one, then, Herman. If it has a pinhole, it's a one.
Yep.
That's a
gem. I will say, I've shared this before, but this was actually the very first card I ever owned.
Really? That's amazing.
Ooh, Bo's showing us a really cool card. We got to go to Bo.
This is my wallet card.
Wow,
Adam
look at that.
Komorowski. Now, actually, when I bought it, there was a little bit more to the card, but since it's been in my wallet, so the story, my wife's grandfather served in World War II. He was in Battle of the Bulge, big time Pittsburgh, lifelong Pittsburgh resident, huge Pittsburgh Pirates fan, all the sports. He passed away just after his 99th birthday. We went to, I think it was Steel City. They had a mall shop in one of the malls in Pittsburgh. And so he knew I was big into cards, and he wanted to come with. So he came to the mall with us, and he asked one of the employees, "Do you have any Adam Komorowski cards?" Because that was his favorite player in the 20s and 30s. They didn't have any at that particular store. So I went on eBay, looked up a cheap Adam Komorowski card. So this one always goes in my wallet. Adam Komorowski, 33 Gaudy for Grandpa Nate.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That is awesome.
John's over there talking about greatest hitter ever. I mean, Stan wants a word.
Yeah, but
now, according to Ted, like, he was Stan's mom's favorite player anyway. So, according to his legend, he was like, he was Stan's mom's favorite player. So, talking about beaters, here's the beater right there, the chewed up.
Welcome,
there,
welcome, Mickey. I just saw he's in here. He's putting sets in a binder.
What year? What sets?
Yeah, what sets, Mickey?
89 Donruss.
Let's see, we got Jenny. Rich, I mean, we know you go through donations and stuff, but as far as like your personal collection, anything you working on, or?
Well, remember, I sold everything last month, so I vowed, and I honored my vow to myself. I would not purchase anything until I bought Topps 1 on Wednesday.
And did you buy Topps 1?
I bought Topps 1. I bought a jumbo box and a hobby box.
Okay.
That's about 30 Wanders in there, right?
Yeah, I got like 2 Wanders. I didn't get anything, I didn't get any parallels or anything in Wander. I just got normal everyday Wanders. I'll pull out.
At this point, I think you could buy a pack of Donruss and get a Wander.
I think I enjoy the pack.
91 Fleer now has Wanders in it.
It's just so weird looking in my closet where I used to have all my boxes of stuff that I took to the shows with me. And the only thing left in my closet was this.
Yeah. I bought 2 boxes of Series 1. One I bought and I like to call Share with Friends, which Ed was the beneficiary of the 2 Wonders I pulled from it. But I've got another one that I'm going to open for myself either tomorrow or Monday. I'm not sure which. But yeah, that's all the Series 1 I bought. So.
Yeah, and one of the things I did was that I honored, I respected my really local card store because they give me a lot of boxes now as donations. They don't want to deal with commons.
Right.
And they know I'll take, and when I say commons, there are sometimes some cheaper inserts too. And they don't really want to deal with it. So they put them into monster boxes, and about once every couple of weeks I walk in and, hi, Rich, we have 3 boxes for you.
Wow. Sweet.
So therefore, when I wanted to buy my boxes, guess where? Even if it was a little more than somewhere else, guess where I went to buy my boxes?
I don't blame you.
Right.
No. I mean, that's you kind of have to, and that's
right. You kind of have to. So I was very happy, chucking down whatever money it was, and it was not cheap to buy them. And I was very happy to chuck down and say, one of each, and in a couple weeks, and hopefully Heritage comes out on time, and then hopefully, even though I'm really chud low on it, hopefully the owners will actually start realizing that nobody has ever come to see an owner sign a paycheck, but people do come to see players play, and because I kind of like to have a season this year.
I'm on the opposite page of Rich. I won't give them any money for any MLB products this year until they figure it out. And they need to go sit in a jury room and be stuck in the Motel 8 until they figure it out.
I mentioned that this morning on Hobby Hotline, and that's right. Jenny was the one that said it on both shows that the owners and the player association needs to go be locked in a room like a bunch of jurors and don't let them out until they come up with a decision. Because they're not doing anything right now.
Right, they've had about 10 weeks now, and we've gotten nowhere.
Yep, they're walking in a room for 5 minutes, playing rock paper scissors, and going back to their mansions.
They're counting the interest on the season ticket
players. The owners have locked them out.
Yeah,
right.
They haven't exactly been the most cooperative bunch in negotiations. So I mean, and I know that some people think, well, we'd all do that for free. But when you spend that much time prepping, you don't want to do it for free at some point. I'm sure some of them still would, but most of them, they spent their whole life prepping for this, and they've spent so much getting ready that for them, it's very important that they get paid. And with the exception of the higher level players, it sounds weird to say, but with all the expenses you have, even minimum, which is a lot of money, if you don't play more than a couple of years, that money goes away real fast. Mm-hmm. You have to do things like pay taxes, like in half of the. Believe it or not, you have to pay taxes as a player in half or 3/4 of the states you play in. all the states, you have to hire almost an accountant full time to keep track of where you play, so you know how much you have to send all the state tax people. So
well, moving on. Oh, what's that? It.
Go ahead, Herman.
I was gonna say I was gonna move on to Ed and see what he might be working on right now.
Well, I'm continuing on my Yaz quest. I grabbed the 82 Fleer.
I love Yaz.
And
Show it again.
The 67 tops.
Ooh, I like the Yaz.
I'm down to, I need the 61, 69, and 73 tops, and the 84 Fleer, and a couple of Donruss, and then I'll have the whole run.
Well, the 73 Yaz is immortalized in a Simpsons episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably my least favorite Yaz, too. He just doesn't look like Yaz.
And I had that Yaz was, the 73 Yaz was in the first pack I ever opened when I was 8 years old.
Oh, really?
But I've been collecting them in PSA only because the older cards, I just want the confidence that they're legit, and my OCD says it all has to be the same, so the display's all PSA. But I'm actually an SGC guy. But the other rabbit hole I'm getting ready to go down is you remember the Conley Collection?
Yeah, black and white.
Yeah.
Yep.
I came across a box of each year, and what fascinates me with collecting, well, especially when I was a kid, was the back of the card. I learned so much about baseball and baseball players reading the backs of those cards. So with the Conley Collection, they emphasize the stories on the back also, and it's a pretty big set. I think it's like 1,500 cards. Yeah, the boxes you could probably get 2 sets out of each box with so many cards. So I'm going to start opening that slowly because I don't want to get into a big project like that and get bogged down with it. But I think I might document it on my YouTube channel.
You are aware that the 1995 Conlins are very tough cards. On those, I would tell you on that, just in terms of, and I know it's fun to open and build a set, but if you have a 1995 box on open, I would sell that as an open, because it's a 110 card set.
Yeah,
I would just look for a set and try to sell the box on open. That's just me thinking, in terms of, not in terms of collecting, but in terms of maximizing what you have. Oh, by the way, here's Wander. I'm going through my stuff, so here's Wander. You're maximizing what you have so you can buy other cards, in this case, for your collection.
Yeah, well, the 95 is the only one I didn't get a box of.
Yeah, those are really tough.
The 91 through 94, you pick them up for $20, $25.
Yeah. And in 92, they made a wonderful and a terrible mistake at the same time. It's a wonderful card. They have some signed cards in 92.
Yeah.
But they didn't certify them in any way out of the packs. So you can get a Johnny Mize. They're not easy. You can get a Johnny Mize signed card, and there's no way they're not verified. So I mean, you would have to do it like PSA DNA. You won't just get the card graded by a card company, even though they exist. They came packed directly out of the pack.
Right.
By the way, I see Bo has walked away, but we all should, we talked about how we're on show number 11. Bo just hit show number 500.
501.
501 now.
501. Oh, I missed it this morning. Oh, that means I got to listen tomorrow morning. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he's, basically doing it every day. So you come up on 500 quick.
Oh, yeah.
That's what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
Yep.
The reality that it makes you think about when you think of show number 500, if he started that because he was working from home because we were in a pandemic. That's
exactly.
how long we've been in a
Crazy,
pandemic.
Yeah. He basically just wanted to share his hobby, and it turned into something to where, I know I do, and I know Brad does now, and a lot of us listen on our way to work or on our way to a job or something, and it kind of turns into a free for all, like kind of like this is. I mean, he gets on with every intention of talking about cards, and we'll send him down a rabbit hole and talk about anything.
He's never talked about chickens though.
Nope, no chickens.
No,
I mean,
we save that for Monday nights.
I mean, I can't listen again until he starts coming on before 10 o'clock at night because that's bedtime for me. So basically, once we get to that spring forward and it puts him at the 9 p.m. slot, I can watch again.
Okay.
But right now he's in the 10 p.m. slot, which means
that's about what, a month, less than a month away.
You guys are always saying you're drinking during his show. I'm like, who are these guys?
No, they're drinking coffee during his show.
You guys are drinking it at 7 a.m. at our time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are times that I was up on Friday until 4 o'clock in the morning, at the boozer. So, that happens. That happens. I mean,
if I'm up till 4 o'clock in the morning,
I was only at the boozer until 9 because that's when they kick us out. Because we're still under the curfew stuff, so they close the doors at 9 and kick you out on the street. So we stopped off. So we stopped off at the lotto shop. I got the numbers for the week. Ended up winning about $40 on it. So that's a good hit. That paid for my night out. So and then we came back to my house and just bought a bunch of beers and just sat here and drank until 4 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah, and I think there was one night that George was on, and I guess I'd say one morning George was on, which was in the PM here, and it was a Friday or a Saturday night, and I had partaken in the adult beverage a little bit and got a little chatty. So I think the next evening he had started indulging in the adult beverage, and he was wanting me to do it live so he could chat.
Yep, exactly. that happens. That happens.
Yep. So Ed, what's got you excited right now? What you working on? Besides sorting that case of Series 1 jumbos you wrote.
Yeah. And you talk about sorting. I was sorting that today, and after Hobby Hotline ended, I ended up putting on classic baseball radio in the September game from the '67 Red Sox season and just kind of got lost in it. But I was working on these Laughlins I showed you the last time we were together, and I grabbed a big stack at the Cranston Card Show. I pretty much wiped out the bluebacks. So I've pocketed that one. And then my 65 set, I'm down to probably about 90. I need 90 to complete it. I picked up this stack from a fellow named Charlie O'Neill at the Cranston Card Show. He's probably the guy I got about 80% of my cards from. But these are great quality. If you can see that, I mean, I grabbed about 40 of them.
Those do look nice.
They're all in great shape.
By the way,
they're quick.
it's a high number. I love it.
They almost look like they're out of the pack. I mean,
I think that's a short print high number 2, if I remember correctly.
What
The Maloney, that is.
Yeah.
I think it's
I grabbed about a dozen high numbers from them.
Yeah. What year is that?
65.
5. Okay.
So I'm making progress on that, and the ads is almost done. I've always got a little bit going here and there. I've been playing around with the 61 Fleers.
So did you?
I grab them.
Is your Series 1? Have you opened all that already? Or
Yeah.
Grab? Did you run up on one of the Yaz errors?
Mike Yastrzemski?
Yes, yeah, I got about 8 of those.
The errors?
Yeah, the base. Yeah.
That's crazy, huh? Somebody's job is to proofread that.
It's tops.
Just remember, it won't matter if they made the error unless they correct it. If they correct it, then we've got, then we've got a different.
They'll never correct it.
But
here's Bo's buddy, by the way.
Who's that? Is that Patrick?
That is Patrick.
Nice. I love that card. Got the Wrigleyville jersey, gold cup. Great card.
You know, and you can't blame Tops for misspelling Mike's last name. They've never had a player with that hard of a last name.
That is a big.
You know what
I
I
mean,
was
I couldn't spell it.
What I
No.
was thinking was, how many people are going to actually see that it's misspelled?
Right.
I wouldn't know.
That's the easy part to miss. They misspelled the easy part. You
Yeah.
know? It's
Yes, Mike.
People left
all the
the
letters that come before it that are hard.
Yeah,
They swapped the S and the K, right?
yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
You
So
should
hey,
have
let
T's.
me ask you this: because you're a Yaz collector, correct?
Yes.
That's like your guy.
You got two of them here. All right, be careful, Herman.
Okay, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right. But he's the one that opened the case of Elmo,
Tuxedos.
so
Love them.
did you hear that before you saw it, or did you catch it?
No, I saw that when it came out. Somebody had posted it on Twitter yesterday or the day before.
I was just wondering if maybe you had caught it yourself, or
I would like to think I would have caught it. But yeah, and I ended up getting the Yaz die cut and Ted Williams die cut out of that case also.
well, that's nice there. Then it's
Yeah.
always nice to pull cards like that of your own PC.
Yeah, Yeah,
I
and,
can't ever seem to do it.
the 3 SSPs were a bonus.
Yeah. I'll usually get 2 or 3 boxes and break a couple and then open one for myself. And it seems like all the big Braves cards I get, I pull in the break and have to send to somebody else. And,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and the one I open, I don't get nothing.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
okay. It proves that you're doing good breaks, so that's okay.
yes.
Got you
Love those
repeat
breaks.
business.
And that's one thing that I've pulled a couple of. I pulled a Mike Trout auto out of 5.
Yeah.
In a break,
I
and
see
it did not hurt my feelings one bit to send it to the guy that got it, because I mean if I'd opened it for myself, I wouldn't have cared less.
Yeah.
I mean I don't care for the Angels. I'm not. I mean, yes, Mike Trout's a great player, but there's no place for him in my PC. So
Just remember, you did better doing that than that guy that pulled the Kaboom.
oh god, yeah,
Beavis and Butthead.
backyard.
And you don't wear half shirts either.
That's-
Good.
Right, I was gonna say, Herman, you need to wear some half shirts.
Yeah, I don't.
Lace it up a little, man.
yeah,
I don't
you know,
tune
wear
in
my
when
hat
he
this
does that.
way, and yeah.
Right.
You could like they should rebrand to like the Ninja Turtles theme song.
Island
Breaker's
Boy.
in a half shirt, Breaker Power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they kind of remind me of the Island Boys.
Yes. Yeah.
By the way, one thing I like looking at the Tops one this year, I can read the names
Yep.
of the players and the
Oh,
card
yeah.
numbers,
I love
which
it.
compared to last year is a blessing.
Oh, well, we're moving on to Bo anyway, but
I had that from last year.
Yeah.
Right, like that straw.
You and me both.
Bo, did I hear you say that the Cubs only had 5 cards on the checklist this year?
Yes.
You get all 5 of them in a box.
Yes.
Guaranteed a team set.
But Bo wants more than the 5. He wants 1 million.
Yeah.
I know that Bo, like I watched the break, and I know that he was wanting to say something about Yachty in that pack. I know he wanted to, but he
I
tried.
restrained.
What's that?
I restrained. I'm getting mature.
Exactly. I
Gaining
know. I could
maturity.
tell because you just kept saying Yachty Molina, Yachty Molina.
Mickey's talking about the guy's halter top. So, Bo, I mean, we all know that you're in the business of selling cars now, and that's like your income.
Yeah.
But aside of that, I mean, or anything that your million cards Cubs card set, but is that still what you're concentrating on, or you got anything other than that going on, or?
Pretty much. You know, and I caught the very beginning. And then I tried to jump on it, and I was in the other room. My Wi-Fi sucks in there.
Right.
But it's interesting because as Rich had mentioned, I have definitely scaled back on what I'm buying in terms of my collection. And there's kind of a fine line between, being a collector and then running it as a business. And that's something that I definitely wanted to establish before I committed to selling cards full time. Was, this is what's going to be my, hobby. And then, this is what's part of the business. And, anything Cubs is, that's my PC, my collection. It's still a hobby in terms of anything that's Cubs related, but, everything else is, is the business part. Last summer, and it's funny because Mike Moynihan, he had a podcast recently talking about, would I do the hobby full time? And his quote was, "Hell no." And a year ago, and I mentioned this on one of my shows recently in the last couple of days, that's exactly what I would have said 1 year ago. I would have said, "Hell no," because it's a hobby. I'm having too much fun doing it. And John Newman also made a podcast recently about, would he go back again full time? And, his answer was no. And, a year ago and times change and, I didn't like and I talked about this recently on my show that, I didn't like my previous career and I wanted a transition, and I've always had an entrepreneurial, side hustle. Cards have always been, sort of a business for me. Yeah, they've been a hobby. Here's the thing. Cards are more of a hobby for me now, even though I'm doing it full time, than I think any previous time that I've collected cards dating back to my childhood. Because I never really had a PC up until 2017 when I started collecting 1 million Cubs cards. That really cemented my personal collection. I never had a collection, a true quote collection until I started collecting Cubs cards. Before that, before 2017, everything was for sale and everything, had a number attached to it. So that's kind of my, my transition into the full time was, just make sure I know that there's a line between what's my hobby and what's my business. And, I can't go to a card show and buy what I did last summer. I don't have that type of money to spend on a tobacco card here and a tobacco card there. Cause like Rich said, I can use that money to buy bulk and piece it out for my business. So, that's kind of what I'm working on, both business and hobby. I'm buying, Cubs cards, but I'm being careful with what I buy and what I spend. I'm more calculated with what I do buy for my Cubs collection. I'm not going to just buy anything that comes to my table. I'm going to, buy what I truly, really want. And if it's at a good price, and then I'm also looking at the business side and what I can get at a good price and piece it out and sell, on the business side of things. So kind of working on both. And yes, I am still collecting Cubs. In fact, I'm in this chair. There's a chair next to me. It's completely full of like boxes and bubble mailers from like the last month that I need to open up because I haven't updated my Cubs count probably since the new year. It's been almost 6 weeks. So
that place doesn't take a jump.
Yeah, it's I think it's 737,000, and I have 5 medium flat rate boxes of Cubs that I have not opened yet. So the number's going to jump considerably.
Yep. So, about a question. I said one time before that I got to the point where I was actually having to put Braves cards in actual shoe boxes.
Yeah.
And let's see, 2 weeks ago, I got to go to a show and pull and get some more 3,200 count boxes. Got all those cards out, put them in the boxes. I took a count of them just out of curiosity. I'm up to like 8,300 Braves cards. Should I go for $1 million?
You should, of course you should.
No.
There's probably 1 million Braves is probably even available on Twitter.
Probably.
Herman, you can also go for 1 million Kent Herbecks.
Yeah, I could. And then I can have me a bonfire. No.
So
offense.
Diego asked a good question. Does it hurt the trading part? And yeah, absolutely. Like I have to turn down trades on a daily basis just because I don't have time to trade. And, trading costs money. Even if you have the inventory and, say I have 1,000, Red Sox or Yankees cards to trade, it's still going to cost for 1,000 cards. It's going to cost $10 to ship. And that's really why I started to scale up my eBay store back, 4 years ago when I started the project was, it costs a lot of money on postage just to do all these trades. And, $20 here for a flat rate box, $4 here for, 30 or 40 cards in a bubble mailer. I mean, you're talking a lot of money. So that's kind of really where I started to scale up my eBay store just to fund the postage that I was spending on for trades. So trading is definitely taking a hit because, the time spent and that money for postage can be, better circulated into other areas. And, it's been so much fun collecting the Cubs cards and not just collecting the cards, but just meeting people along the way. And, just kind of the stories that, from my trading partners or from who I buy from, that's been the best part of it all. And it's kind of like, I don't want it to end. I kind of like the journey. And, that's always, the road to get there is always the trip is however that saying goes. It's always the most fun. And that's kind of what I'm experiencing is, I don't want it to end just yet. Let's drag it out. This is fun.
Yeah.
The story.
Oh, I got a question for you. Do you think you would have went into business had you have not been in the hobby so much prior and picking up so many collections? Like, say you had 4,000 trade cards. Do you think you would have said, let's start this business?
No way. I think that's what really, gave me the boost to do it was because I had so much. And every time I brought a collection home, my wife would say, you're bringing in a lot more than what's going out. And it's like, I'll get to it someday. Well, someday finally came with the pandemic and, the quarantines and the lockdowns and all, whatever we dealt with during the early days of COVID. And, it coincided with the hobby boom. And now not only do I have extra time on my hands to sell cards, but there's a much larger demand for these cards, even, these 80s and 90s cards that, we didn't think had any value, but they did on the secondary market. So if I didn't have the 2 million cards in my basement that I did, if I just had, a few boxes here and there, there's no way that I would have made that transition.
And I can understand that when you said your wife was like, more's coming in than going out. Just this afternoon, I was at my parents' place and they're borrowing my car right now. And my mom said, I went to the store today and I couldn't fit everything in the trunk because half of your trunk is full of baseball cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I don't have space in my house yet for those.
Well, the story that stands out to me from Bo is the story where the guy he was a younger guy, might have been your age or maybe younger, but he had gifted you. I forgot, was it Ernie Banks card because his dad passed away or something along those lines?
Yep. Yeah, he. It was just and that's like where the stories come, like just the different stories, and maybe I will write a book on the journey at some point, when it's all said and done. But, that's definitely just because it's an Ernie Banks, it really strikes you, but it was the personal connection because I had written a blog about the top 10 most wanted Cubs cards on my want list. And number one at that time was the Ernie Banks rookie card. And I had kind of dabbled, with the fact of, do I wait until the end? And is this kind of my prize for reaching 1 million cards, or, that's going to be a few years away yet. The Ernie Banks rookie cards, it's a vintage rookie card, and the prices continue to gradually rise. Do I just buy it now and get it out of the way? And so his name is Michael. He lives in Ohio. Reached out to me via Twitter and said, "Hey, I've got a package for you," and didn't tell me what it contained. And I opened the box and going through it, and it's some vintage, like 50s cards, and all of a sudden the last card in the stack was an Ernie Banks rookie card, and it took me by surprise because you don't expect an Ernie Banks rookie card as part of part of a trade or a rack, and I had to do a double take, and I looked in the back, and it's like this is a real 1954 Topps Ernie Banks rookie card. And then he wrote a letter, and it was a 2-page letter, talking about this was part of his father's collection, and his father had recently passed away, and he happened to be reading my blog at the same time, and saw that my my number one card on my want list was Ernie Banks. And then he had previously read a story that I shared about losing my father from cancer in 2016, and it just we kind of had that same that bond of losing our dads, and both being collectors and Cubs fans and all that. So he goes, this belongs in your collection, and it's definitely something that I treasure because it's an Ernie Banks rookie card, but I treasure it mostly because of the connection that I had with basically a stranger. Like we had communicated via Twitter, here and there, but we didn't know each other. But we had that connection. We had that, losing our dads, and this was part of his collection, and it deserves to go into a collection like mine, and really meant a lot. So it's those stories that it goes beyond just a piece of cardboard, and that's kind of what makes this hobby so special. Is it's some people look at it like, oh, it's a piece of cardboard with a grown man's picture on it, but it's at its simplicity, that's what it is. But we all share these connections, we all share something in common, and sometimes it takes a baseball card to bring out those connections, and that's what I think it's all about, and what makes this hobby and this community so much fun.
Need a tissue, dude.
Yeah. I took my glasses off and rubbed my eyes. Yeah. Well, so that gets everybody else. As far as for me, I kind of made a commitment at the first of the year that I'd been dragging my 72 set out since 07. So it's been a while. That this year I was going to just cut out all other projects, including my Braves binder projects and everything, until I completed the 72 set. So far, I've done good. I even closed my sports lot account out and had everything I had purchased, went ahead and shipped it because I wasn't buying anymore until I finished it. I'm down to 8. I'm hoping after tomorrow night I'll be down to like 5, as long as my bid stands up. We'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much. Other than that, just getting. I'm starting to organize my other Braves cards outside of the binders. That's pretty much what I've had going on. But I'm like I said, I'm really concentrating on that 72 because I want to finish it. I'd like to finish it before May. I don't know why that stands out, but I just kind of want to get it done and get it behind me and move on. So, and then I can get concentrating on the 80 set.
Did you get that package yet?
I haven't yet.
Ugh, everybody else got their stuff. I don't know what's taking that so long.
Look, my post office sucks, dude. I'm going to tell you, my mailman won't bring stuff to my door for nothing.
I was about to ask you. Yeah.
I'm scared of the chickens.
And yet I posted a card on Monday that I mentioned a friend of mine had found of me and my wife. And he goes, on Tuesday, do you want me to send it to you? And I gave him my address, and it showed up today from Maryland. So who knows what's going on with the post office.
Herman, you better come up. You better come up with a plan B, because you don't have as much 1980 to work on as you think.
Herman, 1980, you've got the Henderson. You're in cruise control to finish the set.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way: I had to send you an 800 count box. That's what I say.
There's a nice head start.
Yeah.
You're almost there, man.
This is a set that I wasn't even planning on working on.
I didn't send you this one, though. I should have sent you this one. I have a bunch of these laying around. I'm sorry.
What's that? Oh, the Aussie?
Yeah, that one wasn't in there, but
Yeah,
plenty of
no
Bob
worries.
Horners. It's 600 Bob Horner cards in there. You're good.
There you go. Hey, I'll take them. I'll take them.
600 cards towards $1 million.
You know, but outside of that, I mean, I wanted to, and this isn't our regular Monday show, or whatever, but I've had a lot of cards. I mean, I can only call them rat cards because I've had cards coming in the last month. Freddie Freeman, my main PC, but a lot of these people, I'm having to look them up because I don't even know who they are. I don't know how they're getting my address, but they're coming in, and I don't even have a way to tell them thank you because I don't know if I follow them on Twitter because they use a real name on the letter and
It's the dark web.
Yeah, it's like
They might be people you've traded with on Trading Card Database.
it may be, and a lot of them I'm having to put on there and like look and say, does anybody know who this is? Or I don't know who this guy is, or I don't know who this is, or
Wait till those hustler cards start rolling in, bro.
right.
You got a lot of explaining to do then.
I'm glad I check the mail every day and not why. No, but it's unreal. I mean, I do appreciate it, whoever's doing it. But I did get one this week that I did recognize the name, and thank you, Jenny.
I was wondering if that showed up yet.
It did. Yeah, I got it yesterday. So
Was it a new one, or did you already have it?
I haven't looked yet. It doesn't look familiar. I may have it, but I may not.
Was it Biff Pocoroba?
So what?
Was it Biff Pocoroba? You don't even know who that is, do you?
Nah.
Braves catcher.
Yeah.
Braves catcher.
Wait,
No,
what?
he barely knows who Glenn Hubbard is.
I know who Glenn Hubbard is. There's not
I
a
bought a
Hubbard card that I do not have.
All right, I'm sending you all my Biff Pocorobas.
What
Who's
year?
that guy that does the drawings of the
What
player?
year did he play?
Who?
Late
Biff?
70s,
Yeah.
early 80s. There's that guy. What's his name? He has the same initials like MM or NN. He's the guy that does the drawings.
Mickey
and
Mailer?
the drawing cards. I don't know. Anyway, he's an artist, and he sell those packs of cards that he draws. And he had a Biff on there, and I bought it for my friend in Alabama who's a Braves fan. So
That's one of these things. Why didn't in Project 20 or Project 70? Why didn't anybody do a Biff Pocoroba card?
He played 10 years for that ball club.
Why didn't anybody start? Everybody. I mean, I'm a Yankees guy. It was great to see all the Yankees, but I think if you had done some of these interesting older players, you might have sold a bunch more just for the sheer unusualness of it.
Oscar Gamble.
Oh, get that hair card. Yes. Oh Lord. Get him like the 76 Topps photo with the afro.
I think Biff
Topps traded.
Ermsey could have done that one and done the hair with all of his little
There it is.
swirlies and swirlies that he does,
Mm-hmm.
John's been showing that card, and there's And at the same time, another great Afro
That's
card is the
iconic.
76-77 Darnell Dr. Dunkilman basketball card. You got to, I mean, that card was the best of the basketball Afros.
So, are you talking about Gypsy Oak, Dan?
No.
No.
Is it Milberg?
Well, there's the Gummy Arts guy that
Milberg?
does the cards.
What's No, maybe I'm not thinking it. No, I'm sorry. Oh, Mark Mosley.
Mosley.
Oh
okay.
yeah, I draw baseball cards. Yeah, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a Biff card, and I asked him if it was for sale, and so I bought it for a friend of mine.
Okay.
And I think Biff passed away in the last 5 years.
I've got a couple of his. He sent me some Freemans and
Passed away last
most all of his Braves he sent. But what year did he play, John?
75 to 84. He was an All-Star in 1978 with a 242 batting average.
Biff.
There weren't a lot of good catchers in 78.
Nah.
Bench was on the downside of his career by then.
Well, Bob Boone, they were all defensive catchers. None of them, Bench was the best offensive catcher in the NL, and obviously,
Right, and Simmons was still hitting well, but even he wasn't quite as good in 78. So that was definitely a down time for NL catchers in 78. Plus, I think Biff was maybe the only maybe Phil Negro could have gone that year, but Biff may have been the only Brave worthy of going at that point.
Yeah, Negro was in that. Negro was on that All-Star team. Starting catcher was Ted Simmons for the National League.
Mm-hmm. So that was 75 to what?
78.
75 to 84. He played 10 years for the Braves.
Well, yeah, Herman, I think you might have heard me talk about my friend who collects Brian McCann. He's a huge Braves fan, and I bought him a bunch of in-person autos of Braves catchers like Benedict, Kuroba, Biff, and then Javi Lopez, and there are some other guys. I can't think of their names.
Okay. Now looking now, I actually do have. I have his second year card. Let's see.
Did you get new glasses, Dan?
Third.
They're fairly newer, yeah.
Yeah, look good.
Thanks.
John's got me looking now because I don't know how I missed that.
I've got 16 Biff Pocoroba
I
cards.
have a
That's
Brave
scary.
card on my desk.
Can you
Vic
get an
Coral.
SSPC?
Vic Coral is another one I got him for, and Earl Williams.
I don't have the rookie. That would be 75.
His first card was 76, tops and an SSPC.
Hold on.
I remember when I was a kid in the 70s, I think I had a Biff Pocoroba card in every pack I opened.
He's that perfect era because he came in and halfway through his career, Don Ross and Fleer showed up. So he's got a pair of cards and some years, 3 cards in other years.
Yep.
There you go. That's your new PC, Herman.
Well, I mean, I've got him listed for my my binder project, but like I said, I don't have the 76. I know that. I have the 77. Yeah.
You got the 82. You just don't know it yet.
Well, I actually need 2 of those then.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I have 77. I guess that name just didn't ring through to me. So
Yes, 76 is a great card. It's his rookie card. He's squatting, catches
Right.
it, and he's got there's like a mobile home behind him or something.
a mobile
Yeah, sort of.
trailer park.
Yeah,
This one here.
that old Braves uniform, with the white sleeves and the blue vest.
Oh, here he is. Yep, I got him.
Nice, 77. There you go.
Yep. Okay. I mean, I'll go. I'll be the first to admit. I mean, I'm horrible with names and whatnot. I remember seeing that card, but I can't pull it up and just talk and know exactly who it is without looking sometimes.
They had some great names back then, right? Buzz Capra,
Yeah. But yeah, and
Mike Lum.
I need to pull it out and show it, but I have the complete Glenn Hubbard collection of tops. Every card ever made. All 33 of them.
There's 33 Glenn Hubbard cards.
No. I'm sorry. There's 33 cards. Period. This like the complete collection. Not just tops. It's the complete collection.
Wait, who? Glenn Hubbard?
Glenn Hubbard.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he had a flare with the big snake.
Yeah.
That was at the vet.
84.
That was the best card of his ever made.
Oh yeah.
Well, I like the who's that guy? Bo. He's a Cub, and I think he also
Jay
played for Scott.
Johnstone.
Yeah, the '84 flare with
The Budweiser Brockabrella.
Yeah.
There's a 2005 Topps all-time fan favorites. You know that, right, Herman? Glenn Hubbard.
There's playing years. Let's say playing years.
Gotcha. I'm just saying. I've got 2 of those. I don't know how that ended up.
That was kind of a side deal that I did, just because it was, he was a lifetime Brave from start to finish. That I did, but I don't know that I would want to necessarily chase anything outside of his playing years.
I've got 34 individual cards. I didn't know I was a Glenn Hubbard master collector. Too.
You're a super collector.
I've got 8 of the 88 Don Rosses alone.
Wait, John, are you a Braves fan?
No, not at all. I have all my cards logged in with doubles.
He is now.
I am now. Yeah. I got apparently I have about 100 Glenn Hubbard cards. I got 34 different ones.
Like every card.
See, and after Glenn Hubbard, he likes Roland Office.
Roland Office was awesome.
He was actually a good defensive outfielder. Not, passable hitter, good defensive outfielder, a good fourth outfielder type.
Yep. Real quick, Jeannie says she's going to have to head out, so I just want to go ahead and thank her for joining us and tell her good night.
Jenny.
And
Hi, Jenny.
Whenever she needs to dip out, that's fine. Her puppies are demanding her attention, so.
I'm surprised my doggy daughter has not come in here yet to give the high sign that, Daddy, it's time for my last walk of the evening. Because the door doesn't close the door closes, but it fortunately doesn't close all the way, so she can come in anytime. She has like no knock privileges. She'll just come in.
Right.
She can only be so patient.
So now I've got to go looking for the 76 Biff.
Oh, it's a beautiful card.
Oh, and the SSPC, I love that set. You're saying he's in that set? That's even prettier card.
Well.
That is just such a nice set.
One of my favorite things about that set is both the American League and National League cards are taken at Shea Stadium.
Right, and that I believe Keith Elberman wrote the backs of that card, and he may have even done
stadium.
Yeah.
He may have even done some of the photography for it. I mean, it's growing up. I love that set because I actually read the backs of every one of those. I know somebody talked about how they learned about stuff reading the backs of cards. Well, I was a teenager, and I still read the backs of every 76 SSPC card.
Yeah, they reminded me of the old Bowmans from the early 50s, the back.
That's what I love.
No stats.
Oh, I'm finna buy this card right now.
Which one? The 76?
Yeah.
It's a good card, Herman. You see it?
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's a good looking card.
Yeah. $150.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what? I might have one. I could send you one. No, I have not. I'll send you 7 Glenn Hubbards instead.
Well, guys, I'm gonna head out. I gotta go chase the dog around.
All right, Jenny.
Okay.
Thanks for joining.
Hey, Jenny.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you're welcome back anytime.
All right,
All right, take care.
you too.
Yeah, Jenny just, I don't know, something about her camera. She can't get her video to work on StreamYard, so I don't know how bashful she is, or she may be, I don't know, but we had actually had her on Monday nights a while back talking about the trading card database. And
I remember that episode.
and she has a lot of info and knowledge about trading card database because she's done a lot of trading on there, but she could not get her camera to work for nothing. We worked on it for about an hour before we went live, and it just would not work.
I think he lives like in the neighboring state. I think he's like about Kin's age or a little younger than Kin, the guy that does TCDB. He actually goes to most of the nationals.
Right.
And I mean, there's a lot of really good information on TCDB.
I spent a lot of time logging in like these monsters, like a monster box of cards and stuff. And then I just said, fuck it, and just sold it for $40. The entire thing.
Right. I have almost every. I've been slipping the last probably 3 or 4 months, but up until about 4 months ago, I have every card that I have on trading card database.
Wow.
That was something that when I first got back into the hobby, which I mean, I never got out as in I sold everything, but I just kind of put everything to the side and quit, looking at it for a while. But when I got back in, I got to looking for ways to, kind of catalog what I had, and that was one of the first things I found. And I started listing everything on there. Well, then I found out that, I could trade on there too. I'm like, okay, well, I started doing that. But I went through and listed all my sets that I had completed, all my PC cards I had on, and right down to the the extras that say commas that I didn't want, and that's what I was trading from. But that's a great resource to have. And I think John, you use the Beckett site, right?
Yeah, I use Beckett OPG.
It's kind of the same if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, you can trade. You can buy. You can also buy from their marketplace, which Burbank works off of there. So you can buy a lot of commons off of there. But it works out for me. I have all the sports. It has all the sports on there and stuff like that. So yeah.
I mean, I like trading card database, and I enjoyed putting those cards in. The thing was, I put them all in. Like I had like a monster box, and then I got it all put in, and then I was about to start putting in like another box, and then I was just like, I don't care. I was like, I'm putting these cards in that I don't care about. And I was like, yeah. And like, the thing is, Bo would have loved it. Like, Bo would have legitimately loved that box because it was filled. Like, it was a monster box, a 4-row monster box filled with first Bowman's chromes.
Oh, yeah.
First Bowman papers and rookie cards. And I know for a fact because I went out and I comped because I pulled some of them out. And like in every handful, every stack that I would pull out, there was at least 1 or 2 that were comping at $15 to $20 per first Bowman chrome. And I'm talking about, they were like parallels or sapphires or stuff like that. But $15, $20, I sold the entire box for $40.
Oh.
I just didn't care. Just get that crap out of here, man. So, you would have loved it though. I actually thought about sending it to you, but then I checked and like the shipping would have been probably about $180.
Oof.
And I was like, nah. And I was just going to send it to you. Like, I was just going to send it and just be like, do what you want to with it, sell it, make some money or something. But then it's like, no. But, so I sold it in like less than, I think I had it up on the website, on the forum here for about 3 minutes before
Holy
somebody
crap.
was like, I'll take it. And I was like, yeah. So, I mean, it was, and I said, I was like, it's a great deal. I was like, there's a lot of good stuff in here, but I just I don't want it. I don't want the bulk anymore, you know? Like, I would rather just get my collection down to where it's like in like a couple of boxes over here. Like seriously, in a couple of boxes. That's what I want. I want a couple box collection, and that's it. And of you know, like of my players, of my, I mean, of course, you know, like my sets are that, like I have a few sets that are taking up more space, but that's understandable. But I mean, that's like my 55 set, my 2014 KBO sets, things like that. But you know, like I'm cool with those.
I'm trying to get down to 3 Baker's racks. If I get, I'll be all right. I don't know if I can make it, but
yeah. I mean, well, the thing is, it's like for me, if I had more room, if I had more, like let's say I'm like Bo and I had a basement that I could kind of dedicate to my sports and stuff like that. All right, cool. I've got this one bedroom in my house, and it's not a big bedroom, and like Dan knows, like being here in Korea, we don't have closets in Korea. Like in general, like I mean, some places have closets, but most places don't have closets. Like it's straight up, it's just 4 walls.
most of the world doesn't have closets; they have wardrobes.
Yeah, so there's nothing that I can't open a door and hide some stuff behind it, you know.
I have 2 book. I had to buy 2 bookshelves.
Yeah.
No, 3 bookshelves. Yeah.
Now, see, watching Seinfeld made me think that you just slept in dressers over there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kramer.
That's the way it is, man. But no, but like, but yeah, like, I mean, I bought these cabinets over here, and so part of the reason why I sold off like all those cards and I'm trying to sell more is because I bought this cabinet at IKEA because I was like, this is going to be my card cabinet, okay? I filled it up and I still had a huge ass fucking stack of stuff behind me, and I'm like, fuck this nonsense. It's like, get it out of here.
But you never heard George Carlin's take on all that?
What's that?
I had so much shit, I had to buy a bigger house, and I filled that house up with shit, so I need a bigger house. No matter what you buy, what you buy, you're going to fill it up.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Space is temporary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you
I'm
know,
great. My nest is getting empty here. My kids moved out. Now I have nothing but room. So.
Right. Exactly.
Question for you guys. I'm sorry, George. Did you want to keep going?
No.
All right. So I do have some I am into Star Trek and Star Wars. I am a Trekkie or whatever you want to call it. But I do have some Star Trek autographs. And so these are some of the ones I have, like from Deep Space Nine, and except like all these side characters. I don't have many of the main characters, which obviously cost more. But I had a question. I offer on a bunch of cards that are these like guest stars. Actually, you guys probably know William Sadler. He's an actor. He was in Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile. But and a lot of these go for like $5-6. And there's a guy who was selling maybe like he was selling a bunch of Deep Space Nine autographs for $5, $6, $7, and he had best offer on them. Would you guys be offended if I offered you $5 if he had a $6 or best offer on an autograph card?
Heck no.
No, not at all.
I'll be taking.
No, and especially if I'm going, like, let's say I have 20 of them and you want 15 of them. Oh, all day. Like, well, I'd probably even take less, because if you're going to take out a huge bulk of them, then
yeah,
you know. I offered, I think I offered on like 4 of his cards. One might have been 7. I might have offered like $5.50. I'll do 6 if he wants to do 6. But he had like 6. He had like 4 of them at like $6, and I offered 5 on all of them. But I need you.
Were they auto rejected, or were they?
No, your offer's been sent, and I asked him for autographs. I asked him for photos beforehand, and he's like. And he sent them to me. So I'm just maybe he's busy. Hopefully I can get them.
So a lot of times, here's kind of my like how I price things as a seller, and everybody's different. But if I price something at $6, I want to move it for $5. Like that's just and a lot of my stuff is priced at $6 or best offer or whatever, and it's like $5. If somebody sent me a $5 offer, I'm accepting it right away.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
Usually
makes
8%.
sense.
And even if it was for, if I listed it today for $6 and somebody sent me an offer for like 3, I'd probably counter at 5 and stay true to 5. But if it had been posted for like a year and somebody sent me $3 or $4, I'm probably taking, 50% off, just because it's been sitting in my store for a year.
Right.
So I'll take the first offer I get usually if it's,
Right. Might be another year before you get another offer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll assume no, but I don't want to make any assumptions. Do any of you guys collect non-sport or any kind of autographs from like TV celebrities or actors from shows?
Well, I used to do a lot with signed books.
I do, but like mine is very small, very limited, and it's my TTMs. I love sending to those non-sports people. Like I got a Mark Summers autograph, old Double Dare guy, and different one. Like I like those kinds of cards, autograph, but I just do them TTM, But that's because those you can get in Allen and Ginter, which is one of my favorite, releases, one of my favorite sets. I'm one of those people that I enjoy opening Ginter and pulling out these non-sports people. I know a lot of people don't like that. They're like, "Oh, this isn't a baseball product."
You like the trees too?
Well, and it's like it isn't. That's the thing. It isn't a baseball product, really, in a way. I mean, it is. It's baseball, but it's a lot of non-sports as well.
Okay, Herman, do you collect autos of these actors? All right, who is that? I can't tell the name. It's too low. Principal Kwan. What show is that? Herman, are you muted? Herman, you're muted. We can't hear you. You do that once a show. Good. All right.
There's no one time. This is it's Hiro Kanawa. He played the principal in Smallville.
Okay. Yeah, I actually haven't watched that yet.
All right, guys, we're at the 2-hour mark, so for me, it's probably time to take my pups out.
Okay.
All right, Rich.
Thanks for the chat, Rich.
Look, I appreciate you joining.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. I love talking about this stuff. And the only thing that annoyed me about today is I forgot to listen to Bo. I forgot Bo was going live this morning, so I'll listen when I get back from my walk.
Yep. All right, well, take care, Rich.
Who's the leader in that market in a celebrity autograph cards? Is it Leaf?
Mine are, well, I know Ritzenhouse. Who is do some of you guys know Ritzenhouse?
I've heard of them.
I've heard of it.
They do TV and movie cards. I don't know who they're made. I don't know if Rittenhouse is the company. The complete Star Trek DS9. This appears to be by Paramount, but I don't see the actual company. I think Rittenhouse is the company that prints these. But I guess my question to you guys is, all right, I don't know if you guys watch Star Trek, but they have a lot of Shakespearean trained actors. So the actors they usually have on the guest stars are really good actors, and so I'll grab like my favorite guest star actors, which are more affordable than the guest. As you guys probably know, the main actors of TV series are more expensive than the guest stars, as you might assume. But I don't have any of the main actors' autographs yet, and they range from anywhere from like $40 to $100 for the main actors. But most of these are all guest stars who I really appreciated their efforts on the Star Trek. But if you guys have favorite TV shows and happen to have autographs, would you be interested in picking up some of the actors' autos?
Yep.
Yeah. Favorite shows.
Obviously,
I'm a hard no on that. I've and I don't collect autographs, but the line of work that I worked in, it's frowned upon to do that because everybody you work with is kind of, I worked on a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, did rock and roll tours for 10 years. So, if you don't last long, if you're sticking a pen in somebody's face long. So I'm just trained not to collect that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And
Well,
that makes sense.
Yeah, you're special, I suppose, in that
I'm
respect.
not special. Well, That's what my mom used to say. I appreciate that. Some of the teachers too.
Well, guys, we like Rick said, we're on the 2-hour mark, so we're gonna go ahead and cut this off. But as always, everybody's welcome to stick around if we want to keep chatting or whatever. But as far as the show itself, we're gonna go ahead and end it. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see y'all next month for Hobby Roundtable, and we'll see you Monday for Personal Rips and Hobby Chat. Take care.